Okay. All right. Now it looks like we got a sufficiently full house. All right. Let's call this meeting to order. And Brenda, if you'll take roll.
Absolutely. Board Member Brisky. Board Member Brisky. Oh, there you go. I can't hear you though.
Ty, can you try again?
We'll come back.
Okay,
Board
great.
Member Mercier.
Present.
Board Member Ridley. Board Member Roth.
Here.
Board Member Freeman. Council Member Anderson.
Present.
Council Member Woodward.
Present.
Mayor Sierra.
Present.
Vice Chair Habernick.
Present.
Chair Moore.
Present.
And
All right,
Board
thank
Member
you.
Brisky.
Present, is that working?
Yes, it's working.
Great, thank you.
Now we're good. Okay, next order of business is approval of the minutes from our February 8th meeting. Can I get a motion to approve?
I move to approve.
Second?
I'll second.
All right, any discussions or corrections? All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, very good. Next up, public forum. Has any last minute members from the public showed up?
No public comment and nobody additional on the call.
Okay. Moving on to new business. The Badger meter order for purchase of goods and materials contract. Angela, I believe the floor is yours.
All right, can everybody hear me and see my screen?
Yes, we
Excellent.
can.
So good evening, council members and water sewer board members. I will be presenting tonight on meters and encoders for our operation and maintenance division. So this PO is an optimal source purchase order with Badger meter for water meters and encoders. To give you some reference, our 2022 purchase order was for $79,000, and that included annual replacement and repair of our meters. And there was a very minimal community business development needs for meters. This year for 2022, you will notice that dollar amount is much, much higher at $184,256. This includes 400 meters that require replacement as they're approaching the end of their useful life. And there is a much higher increased level of community business development needs. We also decided to increase our meter inventory so that we're able to continue to provide exceptional customer service. So when those big developments come in, we're actually able to have some of those meters in stock instead of having to wait to order them and then get them in from suppliers. Does anybody have any questions?
Oh. Yeah, I'm sorry. Looks at Ty, go ahead.
I was just curious what kind of meters you're buying for the replacement.
So we're basically replacing in kind. So for the Badger meters that we have in the system, and I would say most of them are about 3/4 inch meters for the residential meters, we're replacing them with the same meters.
So not AMI meters?
Oh no, I thank you for asking that. We have a long road ahead to transition to AMI. The first round of business is to make sure that we have our current inventory set, and then there's a whole program that you need to go through in order to convert the AMR system that we have right now to AMI. So we are not doing anything that's going to hamstring us in order to do AMI in the future. So we are being careful considering that, but that is a probably 2 to 4 year process in order to convert the existing system from AMR to AMI.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I'm not seeing any further questions. Okay, We need a motion to recommend that City Council approve by motion an order for purchase of goods and materials, a goods and materials contract with Badger Meter Inc. for the purchase of meters, meter parts, and encoders for the Utilities Department in the amount of $184,256, with an option to amend the contract within the one-year contract term for unknown future business development growth. Would anyone like to make that motion?
So moved.
Okay, can I get a second?
I'll second.
Okay, wonderful. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I'm sorry, opposed? All right, motion carries. Wonderful, thank you, Brenda. Angela, and sorry, and then for the next, moving on to old business, again on the WIFIA loan agreements, and Pieter or Sarah, okay.
I'll
I'm
go
gonna
ahead
turn
and,
this over to Sarah. This is hers to present. Sorry, I was on mute.
me too, no worries. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. So this is really just an update to the authorization that we were looking for last month. And we had the loan agreements reviewed by bond counsel, who is Kutek Rock, and they requested that we add to the ordinance a maximum principal amount that would include the capitalized interest. So we calculated what we thought would be a maximum capitalized interest using a maximum interest rate of 2.95%, which we're expecting to be much lower when we close on the WIFIA loan, as well as a very advanced schedule as far as disbursements. So we gave a schedule to WIFIA, and then we moved that up by 6 months to really maximize that capitalized interest that we would expect. So we're just updating this request in the ordinance for a maximum principal amount for the water loan of 46.5 million, and for the sewer loan, a maximum principal amount of 26.5 million. And with that, I'll take any questions.
Any questions from anybody? This John, I'll ask one, just in terms of, if I'm correct, I mean, this replaces the motion from last time with just these updated numbers. Do we need to acknowledge that in passing this as a replacement? I don't know if I need to do anything for the record. I don't know if anyone's got any thoughts on that. Guess we'll just say at least with the minutes will reflect that the motion we made last week is being replaced by the motion we're about to do. So with the replacement motion would be moved to recommend that City Council approve by ordinance the WIFIA loan agreements with the EPA for funding in the water fund in the amount of $46,500,000 and sewer fund in the amount of $26,500,000. Would anyone like to make that motion?
I move.
Can I get a second?
Anybody else? I'll do it.
All right. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries. We are on to staff's choice and the backflow prevention and cross-connection control update.
I'm excited to tell you that we are at 100% for 2021, which is great news. We took a hot 5 minutes to celebrate, and then it's like Christmas. We celebrate and then we're back on to getting ready for 2022. We are interviewing a couple firms to help us out with our cross-connection control surveys. That's an integral piece of the backflow control and cross-connection program itself. That is a kind of overwhelming task that we are working on this year, and having those outside contractors will allow us to have some additional backup to complete those surveys. We are working on some notifications that we're going to be providing hopefully later this month to the general public. Our goal is to get out a social marketing campaign a little similar to the Flow It Forward, where we just let people know we're going to be instituting a yearly deadline for everyone and thank them for their participation in 2021 and thank them in advance for their additional participation in 2022. Getting everyone on the exact same deadline will be a lot easier for us to track and provide assistance if needed with those backflow certification testing reports. And then we're going to start sending letters out. So we will keep you all informed as we progress, and expect to see some things on Englewood social media and probably on our billing website platform as well. Any questions on that? All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. And suspension of water shutoff moratorium update. Easy for me to say.
All right. So I'll go ahead and present just this slide. These are the updated numbers and kind of where we are as of today. So there are about 206 red tags that were issued for Q1, and that was the start of our shutoffs. Last week, we started on Monday, and there were 30 customers that were shut off. And then also last week, we started shutoffs with Q2. So as you can see, the number of red tags start out fairly high. Those are issued 5 days in advance of shutoffs, and that's 5 business days. So customers have the chance to call and either set up a payment arrangement or pay in full, or just, let us know that they can get a payment to us, within a certain amount of time to avoid shutoff. So last week, that was a fairly successful process, as you can see here, with going down from 206 in Q1 to 30 shutoffs, and then down from 192 red tags in Q2 to 43 shutoffs. Q3 red tags were issued last week, and shutoffs started today. So there's 46 customers currently on that shutoff list, and several of those were shut off today. As a result of customers calling in and our billing staff taking phone calls, Q1 and 2 have a total of 20 new payment arrangements made. And as of now, 18 properties still remain shut off. So later this week, once we get through the Q3 shutoffs, field staff is going to go out and confirm that either customers the property is either vacant, nobody's living there without water, or that there hasn't been an unauthorized turn on by the customer. So that'll happen later this week. As of today, in Q3, there's 17 new payment arrangements that have been made, and 8 properties are shut off, but 4 of those are scheduled to be turned on tomorrow. We've been following the process where if someone calls on the day they're shut off, they get turned on the next morning. They're provided a 2-hour window to be home or to be at their property, so that a field staff member can come out and turn them back on. As far as the low income household water assistance program, it has helped 9 customers avoid shutoff as of now. Like that's a new number from January, when we'd had several customers had already taken advantage of this program. Are there any questions?
Not seeing any hands yet.
Do-
Go
Oh,
ahead.
Do the shutoffs also include businesses, or are they mostly residential?
They are mostly residential. I have not heard of any businesses that have been shut off.
So Sarah, just confirming that, I mean, the vast majority, the red tag itself triggers resolution of this, gets payment the vast majority of the time.
Correct.
So with all these getting, so yeah, by the end of this, I mean, that's amazing. At the end of this, we're down to just at least sitting at the moment, what, 26 properties in shut-off situations. So it's quite motivating, apparently. Very good.
It is.
Mayor Sierra.
Thank you, Chair. Deputy Director Stone, could you remind me what the fee is for the red tag?
Sure. So there's a $5 red tag fee, and then there's a $15 late fee that is assessed.
And those are just one time for.
Just, yes. But
Okay.
so each time that they're issued a red tag, they would get that $5 fee.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you.
And what was the fee to be turned back on?
It's in a late fee of $15.
Oh, it's in, okay. Okay. All right, I'm not seeing any other last questions on this topic? Wonderful, thanks for the update. We are to the end of the agenda, other than if any board member has an issue they'd like to, or a question, or they'd like to raise. All right. Well, I will say that I'm trying to get good at judging time on these meetings, and this one's throwing me. But I'm doubting I'll have any objections to adjourning early. So, oh, I got a hand squeezed in there at the last minute. Go ahead, Marjan.
I apologize, John. I first of all wanted to apologize for my delayed attendance to the meeting. I had some computer problem and some access problem. So, and I know the first portion of it, and I know Miss Sarah went through the interest rate that she was saying is going to be much lower. I just was wondering, when you refer to much lower, how much is lower than 2.59%? And
So
find out.
Sure, sorry to interrupt there. So the interest rate has been tracking at about 2.1 to 2.19% over the last several days.
Thank you so much for, and I wanted to say good job with this collecting because I agree with John. It just looks very impressive how people got motivated and they're getting back to paying the dues, and I think the fees are pretty fair in my opinion. Not that it's like $5 and all of that, and it's very motivating for this. But good job, Sarah. Thank you for your help with that matter. Yes. That's just my question, and I guess you find out about that pretty soon. What time frame are you seeing that when you find out what are those solid numbers are coming through?
I'm sorry, which numbers are you referring to?
Interest rates. With the interest rates, when you're gonna, because this loan getting approved, right? The WIFIA is going to get approved, but do you know the time frames that we're looking at?
Yeah, so the interest rate is locked in at loan closing. So we are presenting to council next week for the first reading of the ordinance. And then the second reading is March 28th. The EPA also has an internal process that they are running through currently with their approvals. And then after the second reading of the ordinance, there's a 30-day publishing period. So the earliest we could close is end of April, following all those approvals.
Thank you.
I'll just add to that. We are anxious to get these low rates locked in, and which is why we're really trying to push this as fast as possible. And in actuality, one of the changes that we're going to make is we're doing a special session to just get this approved next week with council in order to save another couple weeks of potential delay in getting them closed. It's important for us to lock them in low. So we're trying within the process to get there.
Good job, Peter. And it's like, yeah, the interest rates are going up a little bit. And I was like, yes, it's good to be able to get those lower. It makes me very happy to see I hear those numbers coming through. Thank you so much for all your hard works.
I'm sure our council members here will support the expediency It'd be good to get it locked in. Okay, wonderful. Any other comments or questions? All right, then I think I will declare us adjourned. Have a good evening, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
All right.
Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next month.